God is getting, God is proving. Far too long we relied on people, souls, other people's words to secure our, removing everything and everybody. Save your money. They turn the TV off. Turn the TV off. God says in this season, I want you alone. I tried to stop you in 2020 during the pandemic. You couldn't stay still. I tried to get your attention with this, but you still didn't stay still. And I'm going to try again. And this time, I'm going to take away what you depend on. The thing you've been working to have for 40 and 50 years, I'm going to test you. I might take that away from you. And now you look back and you wasted 40 and 50 years working and worrying, and then we find out at the stroke of a pen, it could be gone. What are you going to do when you have nothing left? What are you going to do when your cup is completely empty? And it wasn't because you poured it out. Are you still going to trust me? Are you still going to believe? Or are you going to retreat in fear? God is speaking to you. This sermon was not to shout you. This sermon was not to just fill you up with fire, but it was to remind you that God is literally calling. I want to do it, Stephanie. These last few years, God has put messages in my heart. And I found myself not wanting to be obedient and preach these messages because I didn't want people, I don't even know, don't even matter. I didn't want people thinking I thought more of myself than what I was, but this whole week, I had to really realize that God has called me and he's placed certain things in me to speak to his people. And I found out that a lot of times when I was stressed out in these past few years, it's because I wasn't being completely obedient. I give a little bit here, a little bit of there. But I remember standing on this stage about 2 years ago. And I preached a sermon called Homework. Do y'all remember that? And I didn't know what God was saying then. But he said, build the ark. Build it. Because there's a flood coming. And lo and behold, not only have we experienced real floods that have taken out villages and people and whole entire states, Texas and all, it happened just like that. If we have not seen hurricanes and storms knocking out power, if we not have seen fires destroying everything, if we have not had political unrest in every which way we turn, if we are not losing things, and it seems like it's a flood happening, one thing after another, one attack after an attack, and God said, I warned my people just like I warned the people in Noah's day. But they keep thinking it's Old Testament. My word is fresh and new every morning. God is looking for a church of people who don't just say it, but believe it. And not only do they believe it, but they act on it. Are you ready for action? Are you ready to get on your post? You've sat in these pews for too long. You've heard too many sermons. God is saying it's time for you to act. You are now a mature Christian. Get off of the milk. And let's help these people who don't know where to turn. Stand all over the building. Please, 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 please. Prayer team, thank you. I don't know who this word was for, but it was for somebody. And it's that tug that you feel on your heart. It feels like something just poking you with needles. It's just poking on that heart. That's God speaking. And he's saying, what are you waiting for? You've made too many excuses. You said, not this week, but next week. Not this month, but next month. When I get it all together, God says, I know you out of order. What you getting it together for, that's my job.
Yeah.
All I need from you is obedience. I'll give you the answer when you don't have it.
Yeah.
I'll give you the resource and the provision when you don't know where to locate it. God says, all I want to know is if I give, will you do it? Will you get in my will? Will you get in my presence? Will you get in your prayer closet? Will you use your gift for ministry? But before you do all that, will you give your heart to me? Will you submit? And so while we're all standing, if you hear God calling your heart and you want to make Jesus Christ the Lord and your Savior over your life, if you want to make sure that you have secure place in heaven for eternity, if you want to give your life over to God, come down this altar. God is waiting. He says, you have not because you ask not. He says, I wait at the door of your heart and I knock. Harden it not the day that you hear me calling. Let me in. God says, will you let me in? Yes. Somebody in here, you're saying, I want to pray. I know what I say it, but I need somebody to stand in the gap and intercede for me. If that's you and you need prayer, come down to the altar. We got those who are willing to pray for you. Everybody, come down to the altar. We need a corporate prayer. Corporate prayer. Order our steps, God. Yes.
In your word, guide my feet. In your word, wash my heart. In your word, show me how to walk. In your
Steps, just take to renew.